You know, when I was reading this book, I'm a director. I shoot commercials for a living. I storytell. And I understand non-linear storytelling. This is similar to cinematic non-linear storytelling, guys. I like it, Chef. I like the way you constructed it. I like it that when you talked about a certain angle of your history and your time, you would come up with a short, a small recipe, right? And then you go back to the time that you're sitting in the waiting room having yourself made up before you jump to another chapter. And for me, that's non-linear. And as a director, I understand that very, very clearly, guys. It's in this book. I like it. I really like it.
Well, actually, we started the contest already. No? That was actually if medyo if you believe in predestination or you believe in destiny.
I do.
Parang this is really I didn't. So sometimes this kind of freaks me out in that way, because if so I already joined the contest and I already made it to the semifinals.
Okay.
And then that's when my grandmother died. So
that's sad.
For me, it's like if it were reversed, if my grandmother had died, I wouldn't have joined the contest to begin with, no.
Mm-hmm.
But because we were already in the middle of it, and we're a very Chinoy family, no? So we're very businesslike. So for us, it's always duty and work goes ahead of family, because parang family and personal matters for us, we believe na you should understand because you're family. So parang una yung duty, una yung other people before ourselves.
I know.
So I was brought up that way. So
I know. My wife is a Chinoy, so I know.
So it's like it's like when it was there, ako pa yung nahiya, ako pa yung ayaw mag-compete. Because I thought parang nakakahiya naman that my grandmother died and I'm still gonna go compete. And it was really my family, my older brother and my parents. They were my older brother was first. He was saying na they're gonna tell you to do it. Parang sinasabi niya sa akin, gawin mo na, it's not naman hindi naman masama yung gagawin mo eh.
Correct.
And then with my parents, it was more of like, oh sige, ano kailangan mo? Kailangan mo ba ng kotse or whatever to transport your goods? Ganyan. Ganon. It was so matter of fact na parang in the end ako pa yung nahiya na, why did I even hesitate?
Because you have a very supportive family, Miss Chef. You have to credit your family for that.
Yeah, I think they saw beyond the present. No? For them, it was always you made the commitment to compete, so you should fulfill that commitment. Parang ganun sila.
Pero you got into this competition. What was the feeling? I mean, did you ever think for a period of time when you were competing that you will become champion?
No, not at all. No. When I joined this, the only reason why I joined this is because I knew na if I didn't join, I would regret it for the rest of my life.
Yes.
Because since I was 6, I wanted to host a cooking show.
Yes.
So it's like, if I don't join this, kasalanan mo na to, di ba? Like, whether manalo ka or not, sumali ka man lang, di ba? Yun yung that was the... So, but when I got to the finals, there was an odd feeling of calmness, no? Which I don't do, no? Because I'm a poor competitor, no? I used to be... I used to compete in 10-pin bowling in college.
Your brother is a champion bowler.
Yeah. So the reason why my brother is a champion bowler and I'm not is because I get nervous during competitions. No? I always doubt myself. Okay. So the weird part about this cooking contest, in the finals, I was nervous but I was never doubting myself.
Good.
Kumbaga parang may kaba pero I kind of knew what I was doing. Like, used to be when I competed in bowling or in other things, at the moment na I'm competing, I'm asking, dapat ba nandito ako? Naku, what if mali gawin ko? But when I was in the finals of the cooking competition, that never entered my mind. I was nervous that I could lose, pero I never questioned kung tama ba yung ginagawa ko.
And the judges saw that. And the judges saw that.
I hope so, because during the last few, actually a good kwento is, when I was there, mga last 2 minutes, no? Kasi we had an hour to cook the 6 dishes. So, final 2 minutes, I had nothing on. I had the main course plated up, pero my dessert was not even plated. And the crowd was like going crazy na parang, oh no, you're not gonna finish. Ako, I knew the 2 minutes. I was counting the 2 minutes in my head. What
was it that you were to prepare in 2 minutes?
I was just plating, no? I mean, it was done. It was just not on the plate. So for people, usually...
Last 2 minutes on the thing.
And I would usually tell people, like, pag ako naman yung nag-coach ng cooking competition, I always tell them to start plating at least 5 minutes, no? Yeah. Just to give yourself time if you make mistakes.
So you don't panic?
Oo. Pero ako, at that point, at 2 minutes, I knew. I was counting the 2 minutes in my head while I was plating. Like, I knew, because I knew I would finish 5 seconds before the time was up. And I did finish 5 seconds. So that was the weird thing. No? I'm never this good. And sabi ko nga, I might never win again. This is really just, if you believe in destiny, ito na yun. Because I'm a poor competitor. I get nervous. I'm not very competitive as a person. Like, I've always been outside of my own kitchen. I'll be happy to be the assistant. I'll be happy to be your vice president. I'll be happy to be your advisor. Alam mo yun? Only in my kitchen am I the alpha. Everywhere else, I'm happy to be supporting. So this cooking competition, really, if you believe in destiny, ito na yun, because it was really out of character. No?
Every dog has its day, chef. Every underdog has its day. That portion of the book is when you were sitting in your room, looking at the television set, and finally realizing that you could possibly be the champion of this competition.
That's true. It's amazing. It's still one of the most amazing days of my life, I would say.
Yeah, I can imagine. Congratulations again. Huh?
Thank you.
Curiosity got the chef. Oh, you wrote a book regarding this, right?
So we did. So when we started the show, there was a demand for the recipes, no? And this is how long this show is, no? When we started the show, multiply was still a thing, and Facebook wasn't this dominant.
It wasn't until
and Instagram wasn't even alive.
So
that's how long this show has been on.
Wow.
So when we started, there was never really an outlet to put the recipes on, no? Which was, in retrospect, my mistake. I should have set up my website earlier than I thought needed. No? So finally, after several years, that's when we came up with the Curiosity Got the Chef cookbook.
But now you're in front of a camera. This is different. This is not cooking. This is acting. This is presenting. No? Iba to. How did you feel?
Well, definitely it was, you know how when you watch something on TV and sasabihin mo, ang dali lang yan, pwede kong gawin yan. It's not true at all. So, imagine someone like me who's watched thousands of episodes of cooking shows, no? By the time kasi like even after I won the contest, it was 6 months, no? We had to develop the show for 6 months. I watched a lot, no, because I wanted to prepare. Ayoko mapahiya eh.
Yes.
So I watched a lot of cooking shows like si Chuck Hughes, si Tyler Florence, Roger Mooking, Jamie Oliver, Gordon Ramsay. Ang dami kong pinanood, no, just to prepare myself. And like I wrote in the book, the first day on the first shoot, pagdating ko doon, I just blanked out. No? My mind just went absolutely blank and I did not know what to do. So if you could go back, I don't know how, but I think there are some videos on YouTube. If you go back and watch the first season of my show, you'll notice how uncomfortable I am. It's really totally different from how I am now. So whatever you think you see on TV, it's really double or triple more difficult than.
You're so lucky because everybody understood. Everyone watching it knows that this is the first time you will be running a show. So we are forgiving. To a certain degree, people who are watching you, honestly, people who are watching you would say, well, I like it. It's raw. It's not scripted. I like it. It's coming from himself. It's coming from his heart. It's not something that he has done 1,000 times before. Hey, chef.
I was actually older than most of the crew when we started.
Good.
And our director then was making his mark here. After making his mark in Singapore, he came home.
Was he a Filipino director?
Yeah. He's Filipino, but he worked on some Disney projects in Singapore, ganyan. So he was very experienced already.
Okay.
Pero he was not known here in the beginning. So parang we were both starting on the same path, no? Now we both made our marks somewhere else, and then now we're going to make our mark together. So it was very. I'm very thankful because when we started this show, he really sat me down. No, our director and our executive producer and me. So we sat down and we really talked about the show. No, kasi diba, for a first-time host, they could have said, "Okay, this is how we do things. So just listen to us and do it." No?
Okay.
But instead, what they did was, what do you want to happen? What do you want
the freedom.
To protect?
Gave you
and
the
then
freedom.
I'm like, this is what I want. And then they'll say, okay, this you can do, this you can't do.
All right.
And then, so we created this show. No? And even the title, Curiosity Got the Chef, was a group effort. Nobody thought about that. That was really more of parang a conversation. And then that's how the title
Interesting.
Started. So
I thought the producers were the one who gave you the concept and all of that.
Yeah, it was really, they based the concept on me. So that's why people, I think that's why we were successful with the show, no? Because I think one of the things I'm very proud about that show is that we started a lot of things na people didn't really used to do. No? For example, number one,
Groundbreaking.
I hesitate to use it on myself.
Well,
so I don't.
Yeah, okay.
But for example, used to be when chefs did their cooking shows on TV, they would be in a chef's uniform, and then they would give you the recipe authoritatively, like this is what you're supposed to do, and then they'll show you the skills. Na kumbaga, ito yon, magaling ako, ito yung kaya kong gawin. Now gawin mo sa bahay. For us, it's different. For us, it's for example, I refuse to wear a chef coat, no, on the show. Laging normal clothes, normal person clothes, because we wanted to give the people na parang kaya mo ring gawin to.
Okay.
Kahit sa bahay mo gawin. Like we didn't do it in a commercial kitchen. We very rarely used specialized kitchen products. No? Okay. It's mostly what you have at home.
Wow.
And then we picked out ingredients na you could buy anywhere. In fact, one of my guiding principles nga in creating recipes for the show is kaya bang bilhin to in one grocery store. Yung hindi ka nalilipat ng 2 stores. Wala nang specialty shop. Kung kaya bang bilhin dito, okay. And then on the production side, we were the first to use a colorful set. So if you look at all the cooking shows now, diba, even the YouTube cooking shows, they're all like super colorful.
Yes.
Tremendously well lighted. No?
Yes.
Wala na yung brown, silver tone.
Toned down. Wala nang toned down ngayon.
Puro colors na ngayon. So
everybody wants to shock everybody now with their visuals, right?
Yeah, and then we were the first to do like beauty shots of the food. Used to be sa commercials lang yan eh.
Yes.
Commercials would do it, but they would glorify the fried chicken, na lumilipad.
I should know.
So, yeah, I'm sure you're familiar. No? So we were the first to incorporate it also in the cooking show. So parang we
Great.
I would like to think na the reason why we're successful isn't really just because of me. It was really more of parang just
the group effort.
Let's do something different.
Yes.
For me, the only innovation naman that I did was that I changed the Pinoy habit of. So all the old cooking shows, when they talk to you as if they're talking to children, diba? Like parang, dagdag na natin ng ating soy sauce. Ganon. That's how they talked. So, yun lang. I told the producers, the directors, this is what I refuse to do. I will talk normally and then bahala na kayo. Diba? Wala nang, ayoko na nung, I'm not going to slow down because the audience wants me to slow down. I'm not going to repeat things because you want to write down the recipe. Hindi, I want to talk as if I'm normal in the kitchen. Para people will feel like, kung kaya niya gawin to nang nagsasalita siya, kaya ko din to gawin sa bahay.
Good. All right, but that went on. Curiosity got the chef. That went on for 10 months, and then it extended it. Before you know it, you had like 7 seasons, right?
Yeah, that's super crazy. When we started, the prize was for 10 episodes. And I was half joking. I wasn't fully joking, but I was half joking na I want to last all 10 episodes, no? Because I heard that there were some shows na after the second episode, they were just canceled.
Yes.
So I was so afraid, no? Because I knew na the first episode, talagang halata na I was really nervous. So I was afraid they'd cancel me after the first episode. And then towards like the 6th or 7th episode, they told me that they're extending it to 13 episodes. And I'm like, well, at least I'm going to finish this season. Diba? They were not going to extend it.
And Christmas was coming during that time, right?
Yeah. So sabi ko, okay, at least we survived one season. Yeah. So every season after the first season is just pure blessing to me.
Good.
So, and that's really audience. I'll tell you, cooking shows are expensive to make.
Yes.
And there's not a huge mass appeal for cooking shows. No?
Yes.
In fact, if you look, walang cooking show sa free TV, si Chef Boy lang. Which is a testament to gaano kagaling si Chef Boy Lordo. So the fact na they kept me on for 7 years, that's really audience. No? We had a dedicated audience that stayed with me for 7 years, and that's all thanks to them.
All right. Again, another congratulations to you. Okay. The coolness of it all when you got back after all this, the show was done. Going back to reality is not exactly reality the way you wanted reality, right? I mean, you were like working with celebrities, with Eli Buendia, right? Just to name a few, Bea Alonso. What did you do for these guys?
Part of the personal chef job was cooking for specific needs, no? So for example, before I had a family who hired me to cook for them. Bale, I would cook the food, pack it up, and then freeze para they can reheat at any time. And then during this time, my brother, who's so he's a music publisher, he told me like, hey, can you cook low sodium, low fat meals? Kasi I have a client who has a heart condition. So I'm like, yeah, I can do that. I can, I wouldn't cook food that way, but I can cook it for your client specifically.
Okay.
So sabi niya, okay, sige, let's do it. And then later on, he tells me it's for Eli Buendia. So that was really, really cool.
So you never knew? He just told you after?
I didn't know in the beginning, yeah.
Okay, in the beginning.
Medyo nung nagsimula na, I knew na. So, and I think I don't know if I wrote it in the book, but yeah, there was a scare. There was a Eli Buendia death scare a few years ago.
Oh yeah, everybody thought that he was gone, right?
Because I think he had a heart attack in the Eraserheads
a mild
reunion
attack.
concert. Yeah. And then afterwards, I think a few weeks after that, somebody started a rumor na he had died, and I was like, oh my god, my food killed him. So I was really super nervous, and then so I was checking on Twitter, I was following him on Twitter, and then I found out na hindi naman pala ito sa host. So but yeah, definitely quite an experience.
And Bea Alonso and Dia Frampton, no? The Boys USA, right?
Yeah, si Dia was the power of, actually for both Dia and Bea, that's just the power of social media, no? Power of good vibes on social media. That's really all it is, no? For Dia, I reached out on Twitter just because I was a fan, no? It's not like I'm trying to make myself more famous by associating with her. It was really just sort of, I think she posted something about food, and then I posted something about, when you come over, let me cook for you.
And she did come over and see you,
And
right?
pala, she was coming over for a concert, so so she took me up on it. So she sent me a tweet na parang, I'm actually really coming, let me know. And then so he left me, she left me a couple of tickets to watch her show, and then afterwards, I'm really happy because it started a friendship. No? So after cooking for her, we became friends. So when I go to the States, I usually make a stop in LA to see her.
See her.
Parang,
all right.
yeah, so parang naging friends na talaga kami. With
She's
Bea,
half Filipina, tama ba ako?
she's half Korean.
Oh,
Half
okay. So
American,
sorry.
half Korean.
All right. Okay.
And then with Bea, it's the same. I'm a big fan, so I posted on Instagram. I wanted to start this series, no? Parang sabi ko, Bea, I want to cook for you, so I will cook 40 dishes. I will post 40 dishes on Instagram. Just pick one and I'll cook it for you. I think it came around at the right time because, well, number one, Bea is just the sweetest person ever.
Sweet. That's nice.
She's so parang she took me up on it, so she commented on my posts, no? Not just the first, but several posts later. And then afterwards, her she has really lovely fans, like super dedicated fans. So the fans started contacting me like, oh, don't cook this kasi Bea's not fond of this, or cook Japanese kasi Bea loves Japanese food. Alam mo yun, like they gave me tips, no? So it was super.
They know
the experience
Bea,
is-
right?
it was super fun, and yeah, so I got to cook for her finally kasi our schedules finally allowed us to. And then that's when I met her, and she's super intelligent and she knows a lot about food. And since
Really?
we met, already graduated with a pastry degree, so she knows what she's doing. Like
Good,
she's
good.
she's a very good baker.
All right.
And she posts sometimes eh. So actually, baliktad na nga ako na nga ngayon ng nagtatanong sa anak kung may tips siya. Like, can you help me make donuts or something
Chef.
like that. So,
Okay, chef. All these celebrity times during those moments of your life, and then one time you said that you were in Boracay, and you were reflecting on your life and what has just happened to you, right? Ano ba nangyayari sa akin? Ba't biglang-bigla ito? And there's a portion in your book and you call it the Reflections on the Beach. I kind of like that. That tells me a lot about what your heart really says.
I'll give you a scoop. That chapter was not in my original book. So when I submitted, I had initially put a first version of this book on the internet, and then I offered it to Anvil. And when Anvil was publishing it, they edited it, and then they told me like, you know what, this needs another chapter, because
they did that.
Because I didn't talk about what happened after winning the contest. Parang I was happy to finish by saying natapos na I won the contest, because in my mind I thought, yan na yung diba? Like, that's the story of the book from my beginnings to winning. And sabi nila sa akin, what would people think after you won kung wala naman nangyari sa'yo after you won? Diba? Kumbaga, you should talk about what's happened to you after winning para they'll see na the journey was worth it.